Aaron said, "That's my baby. Pam ain't letting nothing get by her. And Andy's homeless." What's good, y'all? It's your good sister Erica Vane coming to you again right here on Erica Vane TV, your number one source for sisters content right here on YouTube. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any of my sisters videos. I am breaking down every episode, every trailer, giving you additional information that you need to know in between episodes and deep diving with these characters. I love having conversations with y'all about this show, and if you want to join the tribe, you need to go ahead and hit subscribe. Now, in this video, I am going to be talking about episode 6, Hard to Get, from season 4. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. As always, the episode picks up right where we left off, and Aaron and Karen are having a conversation after she reveals that she is pregnant. And I absolutely loved everything about Aaron in this scene. It's Tyler Perry's love letter for me. Like, it's his love letter to black women. I don't know what happened when it got to Sabrina and when it got to Andy, but when I tell you that I feel like Tyler Perry is giving some type of love letter to black women when it comes to the relationships that we're seeing transpire, when it comes to Karen, Danni, and Fatima, those 3 black women are getting loved on, whether they want it or not, whether they accept it or not, whether they can actually understand it, they deserve it or not, it is happening, and I love that for them. In this scene, Aaron is still so grounded, so graceful, so patient with Karen, who is so show that Aaron is not the father and that Zach is the father. And then they continue the conversation where, you know, they rehash the idea that she's not over Zach, which is 100% understandable. I know all y'all want her to be over him like a light switch, but it don't work like that. But what I will say is that she's very aware that he has moved on and she's still processing in that way. So she cannot be over him, but then also understand that he has moved on and trying to figure out what does moving on look like for her. For her, from what she's saying in this conversation, it looks like her potentially being single and focusing on this baby. I honestly think that, or at least what I heard her say, which she didn't outright say at all, but from all the words that she was spewing out of her mouth, y'all, I feel like Karen is punishing herself. I feel like she's punishing herself for being in the predicament that she's in, as if she had 100% control over getting pregnant with Zach now versus getting pregnant with Zach while they were still in the relationship, on realizing when it's too late and he has moved on. But at the end of the day, Zach also did a whole lot of leveling up and evolving after her. So even if they were still together, he probably would not be this person that he is now, because there were certain opportunities that created a pathway for him to walk down and become the Zach that we see today. And he didn't have those pathways before. And that wasn't something that was Karen's fault. It just was life, right? So I honestly feel like Karen is punishing herself. She's ostracizing herself. She's alienating herself. She's trying to create more space between her and Aaron, not because she's not feeling him, not because she doesn't love him, but because she's punishing herself low key. And it's honestly just another form of self-sabotage. Like, while I get that she doesn't want to commit to Aaron in this moment, and I 100% agree with her in reference to what she needs to do is focus on this baby, and it's kind of hard to fathom, you know, walking into a very new relationship and also having a new baby, because relationships require work. But Aaron has already shown and proved that he is okay with carrying the bulk of the emotional load when it comes to the relationship and putting in more. So it might look like the first 3 years of this relationship that y'all are together, you're focused on yourself and the baby. It seems like Aaron can handle that and can hold that weight, but you have to be able to give him a chance and you have to try. And I would be saying something completely different, y'all, if I felt like Karen just simply wasn't feeling him, but I don't think that that's the case. I really think a lot of times as black women, when things don't work out how we think that they should work out, when we finally realize where we made some mistakes or where we were wrong, we go OD, and instead of just accepting the mistakes or the consequences of what we made, of the things that we made or the things that we done, we go even further to further penalize ourselves, to further make our lives harder, to in some type of attempt to atone for whatever actually went down. And it's like, Karen, you don't owe Zach shit else, sis. It did not work out. Y'all were at different places at different points in your life. He was not ready for you when he had you. He made dumb mistakes. You responded very much so emotionally. You responded very much so in the heat of passion of being in love and feeling, you know, betrayed and then sometimes destroyed. And it just didn't line up. That's it. That's all. You do not now have to ostracize yourself to going through life as this single mother with no real support and no nothing because you lost the love of your life, but you you still had his baby. Like, girl, give it a damn rest. Give it a rest. And I totally missed it, y'all, when later on in the episode when Karen calls Andi and tells her to invite Fatima. Now, I will say this. I did a whole video about how Karen and Fatima need to talk. I'm going to go ahead and put that on screen right now so that y'all can go ahead and get into it. It'll be linked in the cards above as well as the description box down below, because that video I 100% stand by and I agree that they need to talk. I don't know if this is the time that they need to do so. I was saying that I think that they need to do so on a one-on-one basis, but it seems like Karen wants to bring the girls around or bring the girls into it as well. Again, if you want to deep dive into what I was saying about that and how I anticipate that conversation going, I got a video all ready for you to watch after this video. But before I finish up with Aaron, I really am looking forward to seeing Karen release. Aaron has created such a safe space for her within their relationship. And not even, when I say relationship, when it comes to Aaron and Karen, I am not just saying romantically. They also have a friendship. They have a mutual level of respect. He has a certain level of just reverence, I would say, for Karen that is more than a romantic relationship. And within that, he has created a safe space for her to feel happy, for her to feel sad, for her to feel lost, for her to know what she wants, for her to still miss Zach, and for her to still love him. He has not at any point made it so that it was unsafe or unsupported for her to feel and do what she feels like she needs to do at any point, as long as she's moving forward. And my biggest issue right now with Karen is that it feels like she's punishing herself, and it feels like she's choosing to stop moving forward. One of the pieces of dialogue that's said in the scene is that we have 3 years of history and that can't be wiped away. Aaron is not trying to wipe away your history. He's trying to walk into your future, sis. You don't want to keep looking back. You're not going that way, Karen. I need you to pull it together, mama. We got a baby. We got a new life. We got some things that we need to do, and you totally deserve. So you need to stop looking back, because you are not going that way. It's so interesting because she kind of starts this scene off with telling Aaron this. He's asking all the right questions and presenting the option that he could still be the father, because she doesn't actually know. She hasn't gone to the doctor. She probably just wants the baby to be Zach. All the while still keeping his calm. He's not mad about any of it. He understands it. He's allowing her to show up how she's showing up within her human experience. And I love this for him and for her. But she responds that I was just telling you all this so that you could stop pursuing me. He's like, so you think that this was going to make me stop? And that's what I'm talking about when I tell y'all that I feel like this is Tyler Perry's love letter to Black women. It's the persistence for me. And this is what persistence looks like, Gary. Not what you're doing. What you're doing is stalking, okay? What you're doing, it deserves a restraining order. What Aaron is doing is persisting, supporting, and loving. You do not know what love is. This is what it is. But back to Aaron. And real quick on my point about Tyler Perry and feeling like this is kind of like a love letter to Black women. Me watching Aaron show up for Karen the way he is, it just feels great. I know it's not easy to look at for Black men. I know that it's not something that feels normal. Like, I know there's a few other people who break down Sistas content who are men. And I'm very interested to see how they're going to respond to what Aaron does in this scene, because it does feel sacrificial. But sometimes that's what a Black woman needs, and we definitely deserve it. And I just absolutely love it. Seeing how Preston, while I didn't appreciate him groveling and acting like he was the 100% problem in their situation and going back to Danny the way he did, I love the fact that he asked to be walked through it. He asked to be shown. He asked to be taught, because he really wants to be with her and he deeply loves her. And again, I'm like, we love to see it. I don't know about y'all, but that's not a regular occurrence out here in the world, aside from like with my single friends. Like, I have a bunch of married friends who have amazing Black men, and I love these men because they love on my friends in such beautiful, nuanced, just amazing ways. When I'm talking about these single streets, this type of stuff is unheard of. The way that Zach checks Fatima on her insecurities and says, no, you're going to talk to me, you're going to tell me how you're feeling, you're going to walk me through what your thoughts are, and we're going to get through it together. By golly, Miss Molly, I love it. Now, I'm not saying that Tyler Perry does everything right with Sistas, but I will say that those 3 characters in particular, I feel like those parts of their stories are a love letter to Black women, because we deserve it. We deserve to be loved even when it's difficult. We deserve to be loved even when you do not understand us. We deserve to be loved even when sometimes loving us can hurt, because we do the shit for you. But let me get off my dang on soapbox and keep going with this episode. The start of this episode I was just absolutely in love with, and honestly that's what I came for. Aaron is not going nowhere. I don't like how while Karen is talking about, I need to be single and just focus on the baby. And then he asks, what you want me to do? She's like, I want you to be here, but I need space. Girl, you want him here or you want space? Which one is it? Because it's not making any sense to me. The directives are very confused. You do not understand the assignment and you the one giving it, and I can't. I really just can't, Karen. What is happening? I know it's going to be very tough because you're in a very, unknown, shaky space, but you're going to have to release this because you're not making the right decisions for yourself or this baby. And I think Aaron might got you moving on. Like, I think I might go ahead and put my eggs in Aaron's basket because I don't think that he's too good to be true. I think that he is exactly what you need, and you need to go ahead and allow yourself to have that. Now, after that, y'all, we get to see Preston pop back up at the dang on Karen's hair salon with his homegirl Tanya, who's supposed to be his date, but he ain't really feeling her like that because while she like cows, sis ain't really kicking that flavor that Danny is probably kicking. Let me stop gassing Danny up because Danny is tripping, but my biggest struggle with the whole Danny and Preston storyline is that I like the idea of it. However, I don't think that Tyler Perry laid enough groundwork to support it. Like, he didn't make Preston white enough, in my opinion. He didn't make Preston oblivious enough, or he didn't make Preston dismissive enough or entitled enough. Like, Preston walked into the situation with Danny really just trying his damn best, and it's at every point he's taking so much and like making such an effort, right? And while the effort is misdirected and she don't like she feel like he breaking and entering because the landlord lets him in and he oversteps certain boundaries that she never communicated until after he actually did it, and then once she communicated it, he addressed it. When it comes to the conversation of his white privilege, and specifically once we get to the point where Karen is like, I ain't calling Danny, and he's like, but I wanted you to. Duh, we all know that you wanted her to. Shout out to Pam because Pam was grilling him like he was in an interrogation room and got to the bottom of it. Pam is with that action, and I love that she has more lines this season. She is adding comedic relief and adding a little bit of extra flavor, and I absolutely adore it. But ultimately Karen lets him know like, yo, you gotta call her yourself because I ain't doing it. I'm walking back into that situation. So he does. He calls her, and of course she lies because she's feeling away and she still does want to talk to him. And I'm just like, okay, so what are we doing? Because Danny, you let him come over to your house, so clearly you do want to talk to him or you want to hear from him. And then you go through this whole, he's like talking and like, teach me what to do, like walk me through it, I'm trying my best. Like, I really do believe that he's trying his best. Like, he's literally not an entitled white man. Like, he just is not operating from a patriarchal place. And I feel like he would need to have come from more of a patriarchal place for Danny's arguments to stick. Like, he's like, take my hand because you've been talking at me. She's like, now I'm supposed to take on the responsibility of growing you. What? Girl, he also taking on some responsibility of growing you indirectly because you ain't never had nice things before. You ain't never have a man want to claim you like this before. You ain't never had a man want to cook and clean and pay your damn rent and stuff before, and you don't know how to act. So one, the way she said it was just so trite. It's like, no, he's not saying that he needs to grow up. He's saying that he needs to learn what he needs to do to make you as happy as whatever you make him, because clearly he keep coming back because you do something for his ass aside from getting on his nerves and keep complaining about stuff that he never even knew was a problem until you actually say it for the first time. This is stressing me out. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, I love the pursuit for Danny in theory, but I just really wish that she would own up to some of the stuff too, because she's also very conflicted. And we get moments of that with like El Fuego, and we get moments of that randomly, but it's not actually clear when it comes to Preston. And this is the relationship that she actually, I guess, kind of wants. So it's like, girl, you telling all these other people, you told El Fuego you don't get yourself. You need to tell Preston you don't get yourself, so that he can understand that, yeah, she can't tell you what to do, Preston, because she don't even know what the hell she wants. Let's start there. Can we? But like I said, I didn't like him coming hat in hand and groveling, but I did like the dialogue that he had in reference to being a person who really wants to be with this other person. It's like, yo, just tell me what to do. Now, what I will say, because I have been on Danny's head, y'all, I have been, but what I will give her is that when it comes to interracial relationships, and I'm only speaking about this because I find myself in the same position right now. No, I'm not dating a white man. However, my friends are telling me that I should. My friends are communicating to me that I need to give other race of men a try, and I just can't wrap my head around it for me. Not because I don't like white people or don't like other people. It's just that I've always imagined myself with a black person, and I don't like the idea of having to culturally explain myself within a relationship. One of the things that I really look for when it comes time to me having a partner and a romantic relationship is being able to be in romance with somebody who gets my walk in life. Someone who understands why I'm so tired or why I get frustrated when I have some type of, passive aggressive encounter at the grocery store or just little things. So what I will say is, and again, I love the idea of the storyline that Tyler Perry is doing. I just don't think that it's being executed properly. I understand that Danny doesn't want to have to teach this white man certain things, because then that part feels like too much work on us. It's one thing to teach people how to love you as an individual, but it's another to teach somebody cultural awareness for things that impact your life that they would never even think of unless prompted to do so. And that's where they kind of find themselves at, like caught between a rock and a hard place, because it's like, who's going to budge? How much of this work culturally are you going to do on your own, Preston, to try to figure it out? How much more effort do you have in you to give to Danny to, put two and two together and try to meet her where she's at? Now, again, I feel like it's not being executed properly, because I also don't think that Preston gets to see all of the things manifesting within her black woman's life that he could actually pick up on and then start to take that and go and research or ask other black women about, or whatever the case might be, whatever it looks like in reference to him figuring it out on his own. She also doesn't show him her full black woman struggle for him to be able to drop into that. So that's why I said it's really executed kind of poorly in my opinion. And I don't know if Preston is ever going to arrive to that place, because he doesn't have any hints on even where to begin to search for the information that he needs to be better connected to Danny. And then also, when you think about it, Danny makes no effort to understand him and his walk and his life as a farming white man, which takes us back to the question of like, well, do you really want to be with this person? Because yes, this person has to create space for you, has to show up for you, has to support you, Danny, 110%. But what are you bringing to the relationship as well, sis? Besides great sex. What else? What is it? But y'all spend a lot of time on Aaron, Karen, Danny, and Preston. Let's talk about what everybody else got going on so we can go ahead and get through this daggone video, because it's kind of a long one. But I was feeling it. I was feeling this episode. I ain't even gonna hold you. So we get a beat with Fatima and Andy at work, and then Fatima gets, whiff of the fact that Gary has bought Andy all of these, expensive gifts and whatnot. She's like, okay, bet girl, we can go ahead and sell it. And it's like, I love that energy, Fatima. You are so right. Fatima tells her about Karen calling, even though Andy didn't invite her. She's supposed to invite her. I think she's going to double back. She literally just puts a bug in Fatima's ear, like, save an hour for me later on today. I might reach out to you. So we're going to see. I definitely think that she's going to wind up telling her. It's just Andy going Andy, okay? We get to see a good amount of Zach in this episode, where Gary stops by the duplex and, introduces Jake to him. And then Jake decides that he's going to actually help, Zach finish fixing up the house, and they get to kiki and buddy together. They seem to be hitting it off right away. I think we can trust Jake, but I don't trust Gary. So it's still up in the air for me. I feel like the little scene with El Fuego and Danny at the airport was a little out of place. And then we also get to see Logan, who comes up, and they both have a little moment of like, yeah, she just shutting everything down. And she's like, well, won't y'all go ahead and form a butthurt society or committee and go ahead together? And I was feeling that, because y'all both are being aggy right now. It's one thing it's a fine line, y'all, between persistence and being aggravating. Gary, aggravating. Aaron, persistent. Figure out how to place yourself very well on the right side of that line. That's all I'm gonna say. I love the call that Danny made to Karen, and Karen's like, yep, I didn't call you, I didn't say anything, I didn't want to do any of that, and I felt like they got to a common ground. But then the following scene, when Andy calls everybody, I felt like Danny had a little animosity in her voice towards Karen. I was like, girl, you just had a good conversation with her on the phone. If it sounded like you felt supported, if it sounded like y'all was at a common place, it sounded like y'all was actually loving each other, and now you back. It's the two-facedness for me. You okay or you not? You resentful or not? Because she brings up while she's on the phone with Andy and Sabrina how she didn't like that Karen called her. But girl, you just got off the phone with her after she didn't call you. She showed you that she changed her behavior. She would not do it again, and she was sorry about it. She literally apologized, and you accepted it. And then freaking 20 minutes later, you on the phone with these other heifers and you pissed again. Like, girl, Danny is a mess. I had so much high hopes for her character in season 1, but she's really just a mess. They give us this little impromptu scene with Calvin and Maurice don't know what's going on because him and Sabrina being whatever at this job, and Calvin thinks that Sabrina has already told him everything. He's over here sulking. I am tired of seeing Calvin sulk, sir. Sir, this woman ain't it, because every time we see you, you are sulking. Your lip is scrubbing the bottom of the floor, and we have had enough. Choose peace, choose happiness. Go ahead and choose somebody else, because clearly Sabrina ain't it if she always got you up in this dang on house looking like this. Now, before the episode ends, we see Fatima stop by the duplex. She gets to meet Jake, and then also Jake, you know, plugs Gary's last name is Borders, and then now we know we got a problem. So Fatima, not only are you gonna have to handle Hayden, but you probably also gonna have to handle Gary, and I ain't with it. I'm completely not with it. I'm just not. But y'all, that is my full breakdown for episode 6 from season 4 of Tyler Perry's Sistas, episode titled Hard to Get. I would love to know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Please drop a comment. I will be replying to your comments. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notification so that you don't miss out on any of my sisters' videos. If you are returning, thank you so very much, and you made it all the way to the end of the video, you know you a real one, and I love you, like for real. Damn, why you so bomb? I got a couple videos right on screen for you right now to go ahead and keep watching. Keep it locked on Erica Vane TV, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.